For all things health and fitness, this is the Army Gymnastics Podcast.
The Army Gymnastics Podcast.
Discover a fitter, healthier you at armygymnastics.com.
Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we are going to take a deep dive into something pretty interesting. It's the connection between rheumatoid arthritis and exercise.
Yeah, a lot of people think exercise. With RA, no way.
Exactly. But actually, we found some really cool articles from Everyday Health and WebMD and a podcast from Army Gymnastics that all say something a little different.
Yeah, they really highlight how important staying active can be for managing RA and keeping your quality of life up. So that's kind of our mission today, to help you understand how to use exercise as a tool to help you thrive even with RA.
When I was looking at the Army Gymnastics podcast, one thing really stood out to me. They described RA as joints as stiff as rusty hinges.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Right, like it just paints such a clear picture.
It does. And it makes sense that if you don't move those rusty hinges, they're just going to get stiffer.
For sure. And I noticed that Everyday Health really emphasized that too. They said that avoiding exercise can actually make your range of motion worse and make you feel even more stiff and achy.
It's so true. It's like those joints need to move to stay lubricated, almost like a machine.
Yeah, totally. So can we back up for a sec?
Yeah.
What's actually going on in the body when someone has RA?
Yeah, so basically RA is an autoimmune disease. And that means that your immune system, which is supposed to protect you, is actually attacking your joints.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and that's what causes all that inflammation and pain and stiffness.
So I was listening to the Army Gymnastics podcast.
Yeah.
And they mentioned those classic symptoms like morning stiffness, pain cycles, even feeling like you've got the flu.
Yep, it's no walk in the park for sure.
Yeah, it sounds really rough.
Yeah, and another thing they talked about is that the symptoms can be unpredictable. You can have these flares where everything suddenly gets worse, and that can make it tough to stick to any kind of routine.
So knowing all that, why would exercise even be recommended? It seems kind of counterintuitive, right?
You'd think so. But both Everyday Health and WebMD are really clear on this. Doctors strongly recommend exercise for people with RA.
That's really interesting.
Yeah, and it's not just about the physical benefits, although those are important. Exercise can have a huge impact on your mental and emotional well-being, too.
You know what I'm curious about? Everyday Health said exercise can help you sleep better, improve your mood, and give you more energy. But how does that work? You'd think that if you're already exhausted from RA, working out would make you even more tired.
Right. It's a great question. But think about it this way. RA is linked to inflammation throughout your whole body. And when you exercise, you're actually helping to reduce that inflammation.
So less inflammation means less pain.
Exactly. Less pain can lead to better sleep, and better sleep gives you more energy. Plus, when you exercise, your body releases endorphins, which have mood-boosting effects. It's like this awesome chain reaction of good stuff.
Wow. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So it's not just about building muscles or losing weight. It's about getting to the root of the problem.
Exactly.
But if I were living with RA, I'd be worried about making things worse if I did the wrong kind of exercise.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. That's why both Everyday Health and WebMD emphasize getting professional guidance. Finding a physical therapist who understands RA is key. They can help you figure out a personalized plan that considers your specific needs and limitations because
everybody's different.
Yeah, totally. Everyone's experience with RA is different. But there are some good starting points in terms of exercise types, and we'll talk about those after the break.
Sounds good.
So yeah, finding a physical therapist to help you create a personalized plan can make a big difference.
Okay, that makes sense. So what are some of those good starting points when it comes to exercise types?
Well, WebMD talked about low-impact exercises. Those are generally a good bet for folks with RA.
Yeah, why is that? What makes those exercises so beneficial?
Well, RA is all about inflammation and stress on your joints, right?
Yeah.
So low-impact exercises like walking, swimming, tai chi, those are all gentler on your body. They let you get your heart rate up and build strength without putting a ton of pressure on those sensitive joints.
So it's not about avoiding movement altogether. It's about being smart about the types of movement you're doing.
Exactly. Take swimming, for example. WebMD said the buoyancy of water actually helps support your weight.
So you're not putting as much stress on your joints.
Right. And they said if you can find a heated pool, that's even better.
Oh, I bet. Why is that?
The warmth of the water can help relax your muscles and ease stiffness.
Ah, sounds nice.
Right. Super soothing. And then there's Tai Chi.
Yeah, I know it's a martial art, but it's pretty gentle.
Yeah, it's awesome for balance and flexibility. Those can be tough areas for people with RA.
Okay.
And the way it works is you do these slow, controlled movements that kind of flow together.
And that helps with range of motion and coordination.
Exactly. Plus, it's a really mindful practice. It involves deep breathing and relaxation techniques. So you're working your body and your mind at the same time.
Nice. So we've talked about some good low-impact options, but I know WebMD also mentioned strength training. And I gotta say, I'd be a little nervous about lifting weights if I had RA.
I hear you, but it can definitely be safe if you do it the right way.
Okay, so what's the right way?
The goal with strength training for RA isn't to get super bulky.
Yeah,
It's more about strengthening the muscles that support your joints.
I see.
When those muscles are stronger, they can take some of the pressure off your joints.
Oh, so it's kind of like you're building a support system for your joints.
Exactly. And you don't necessarily need to lift super heavy weights. WebMD even suggested isometric exercises.
Isometric exercises, what are those?
So basically, you contract your muscles without actually moving your joints.
Ah, interesting.
So like pushing against a wall or holding a plank position, that kind of thing.
I get it.
And those can be great for building strength without putting a lot of stress on your joints.
So there are ways to modify strength training to make it safer. That's good to know.
Mm-hmm.
But let's be real, some days are going to be harder than others.
Totally.
How do you stay active when you're having a flare-up? Like when everything hurts?
Yeah, that's when listening to your body is super important. If you're having a flare, you might need to switch things up.
Okay, how so?
Maybe you do some gentler exercises like stretching or water aerobics, or maybe you just focus on rest and relaxation for a bit. Things like deep breathing or meditation.
Well, it's about being flexible.
Yeah. The key is to find what works for you in that moment and not feel bad about scaling back when you need to.
Yeah, you got to be kind to yourself.
Exactly. And WebMD had some other good tips too, like warming up properly before you exercise and making sure you have good footwear.
Yeah, those are important for everyone, but especially for folks with RA, I'd imagine.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Warming up helps prepare your body for exercise.
No, so?
It gradually increases your heart rate and blood flow, which helps loosen up your joints and reduces the risk of getting injured. So you might do some light cardio or gentle range of motion exercises to warm up, and then cooling down afterwards helps your body return to its resting state. That can help prevent soreness and stiffness.
Okay, and what about the footwear?
Good footwear can make a big difference in terms of support and stability,
Yeah.
especially if you're doing any exercises where you're on your feet.
Right, that makes sense. Something else that stood out to me from the Army Gymnastics podcast was how much they talked about community.
Yeah, that's huge.
Like they really emphasized finding activities you enjoy and doing them with other people.
Absolutely. And I think that's especially important when you're living with a chronic condition like RA.
Why is that?
Well, it can be really tough, both physically and emotionally.
Yeah, I bet.
And it's easy to feel isolated and discouraged. But when you find a supportive community, it can make a world of difference.
So whether it's a fitness class or an online forum, or even just a workout buddy, having people who understand what you're going through can be really helpful.
Yeah, totally. It can be super empowering. And then finding an activity you genuinely enjoy is also key.
Otherwise, it's just not sustainable, right?
Yeah, right. If you dread your workouts, you're not going to stick with them. But if you find something that brings you joy, whether it's dancing, swimming, hiking, whatever, it'll feel more like fun and less like a chore.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
It's about finding that sweet spot where taking care of your body feels good both physically and mentally.
Totally. And that's what's so exciting about this whole connection between RA and exercise. It's not about limitations. It's about possibilities.
Yeah.
It's about finding ways to move your body that bring you joy and support your health.
So you can live your life to the fullest.
Exactly.
Awesome. Well, I think that's a perfect note to end on. Okay, so we're back. And wow, we've covered a lot of ground in our deep dive into RA and exercise.
Yeah, for sure.
It feels like we've really shifted the perspective on exercise, Like it's not something you have to do, it's something you get to do to actually improve your life.
It's been so interesting to explore these sources and see how exercise can go way beyond just physical activity.
Yeah.
It can be a way to feel empowered to connect with others, to even find joy, even if you're living with RA.
It's like we found this whole toolbox of ways to approach managing RA. And exercise is one of the most useful tools in the box.
I love that analogy. And something really important to remember is that this is a journey, not a race.
Yeah.
There will be good days, bad days, flares, times when you're feeling great. The key is to figure out a way to approach exercise that works for you and your body, and something you can keep up over time.
It's about being kind to yourself, paying attention to how you're feeling
Right.
and adjusting your routine when you need to, and celebrating those little wins along the way.
Absolutely. Every step you take, every stretch you do, every time you choose to move your body instead of staying still, it's a step towards feeling better and being healthier.
One of the things that really stood out to me was how much the articles in the podcast talked about the mental and emotional benefits of exercise.
Yeah, it's not just about getting physically stronger.
Right. It's about building resilience, finding community, and just feeling happier.
It's all connected, your physical health and your mental health.
Yeah.
Taking care of one often helps the other. And exercise can be a really great way to manage stress, reduce anxiety, and just feel better overall.
And I think when you're feeling good mentally and emotionally, you're more likely to take care of yourself in other ways too, like sticking with a healthy lifestyle.
For sure. It's like a positive cycle.
Totally. So as we wrap up this deep dive, what's the one thing you hope our listeners take away from all of this?
I really hope people understand that exercise isn't the enemy when it comes to RA. In fact, it can be a powerful tool to help you manage the condition and have a better quality of life. The key is to figure out what works for you. Start slowly, listen to your body, and don't be afraid to ask for help.
And don't forget about finding activities you enjoy and doing them with other people. Make it fun.
Exactly. Exercise shouldn't feel like a chore. It should be something you look forward to.
I think that's a great place to leave it. We've included some great resources in our editor's note if you want to learn more.
Yeah, Army Gymnastics has a really great podcast, and you can find helpful articles on everydayhealth.com and webmd.com too.
So we hope this deep dive has given you a new perspective on RA and how staying active can really make a difference. What will you try first?
Thanks for listening. For all things health and fitness, subscribe to our newsletter today. Find out more at armygymnastics.com.